I wanted to go over with you what's known as the 13 postures of Tai Chi. These are the original 13 movements that all of Tai Chi is based on. They're broken up usually into the 8 powers and then the 5 directions. So I wanted to go over these with you just as a reference so that you'd have it that you can refer to in the future. The first one in the Chinese names, I'll give you some of them, is Peng or Peng. It's a ward-off energy. And the idea with the ward-off is in your first contact with your opponent, you kind of open up and expand your body. The best example of it is when you're moving into the grasp the bird's tail movement. All of your joints are open, you're stretching your ligaments and tendons, you're stretching your muscles, and you're filling up. It's an opening move, and you're filling up like air in a tire, and you have that sort of bounciness. The concept of a pebble bouncing off a rubber tire applies here. So this is where you would make your first contact with your opponent, and you're feeling them, you're developing your sensitivity, and you're getting a sense of where their center is and where they want to go, okay? So that's warding off. It gives you a little power to keep the distance between you and your opponent, but you're also closing the distance because you want to connect with them in Tai Chi. The next power is Lu, or yielding. And again, this can be demonstrated in the grasping the bird's tail when we've made this first move. This is Yang style. We have contact, the opponent's coming in, and we draw them into a void. Their power is strong here, they're coming in at you, and then it gets voided out slowly but surely, and you yield. So it's important to remember that yielding is not running away or giving in or letting go. It's yielding just enough to bring them into this circle. It's a yielding. Okay? So you would go from warding off to yielding. The next is Ji, which is a pressing move, and there are many applications to it, but what it involves primarily is pressing into your opponent. Wu style. Yield, and then press in. And you're pressing down into your opponent, trying to enter into their center and get them off their balance. So it's a pressing move. There are many other applications to press throughout the form, and you'll need to explore those with your teacher and with yourself to see how you can use that. The fourth power is on, which is to push. So after you've warded off, yielded, pressed, you're going to push. Or in Yang style, push. And you've discombobulated your opponent, you've got them off balance, they don't know which way they're going, and that's the point where they're teetering and you can push them away. All right? Combinations of these then come together to make the next 4 powers, which the first of the next 4, number 5 in the 8 powers, is Kai, which is to grab and pull down. In Tai Chi, there's a lot of wanting to grab your opponent and pull them down to the ground. 2 perfect examples of this are single whip. Incoming strike, you grab. You grab. All right? And then there's a push down or a pull down. Also, snake creeps down, grabbing your opponent, grabbing and pulling down. Okay? In grasp the bird's tail, grab and pull down. Okay, so this is one of the techniques that you can use. You know, learning the martial aspects of Tai Chi, even for those of you who are doing this just for health and wellness, is really important for you because it will help you to understand what it is you're trying to achieve with these movements. Number 6 is Li, which is to rend or split. And the best example of this is in slant flying, when you've moved into your opponent. Let's say their arm is here. You've grabbed the arm, and you're going to split. And your opponent will topple over your leg. And what you're doing here, there's a number of translations and interpretations of what this is. But basically what you're doing is you're breaking their posture. When you're doing needle at sea bottom, you're breaking their posture. You're making them disconnect, upper body, lower body. So you're splitting or breaking that. So anytime you break the posture of your opponent and make them topple, you're using Li. The other reference to this, of course, is when you're rending or splitting, breaking bones, making joints go in the wrong direction. When you're catching your opponent's joints and splitting them, or you're separating tendons and ligaments and muscles, which is pretty violent, but that's what's in Tai Chi. So there's that power. The last two are very beautiful. Zhao, which is elbow. And the first idea is to think of the elbow as a strike, which is fine. Try not to strike with the tip of your elbow, but with the forearm or back here, okay? So it'd be a strike, 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 strike. But also when you're in close fighting with your opponent, the elbow allows you to get a better position. So if your opponent is coming in up here, you've parried and blocked. You can use your elbows to get over the top and then come in to gain the better position or to get out of a hold. And it's interesting because I'm showing you some elbow rotations from the Chansu Chin, the silk reeling, so that you can develop a little range with these elbow movements. Okay, and also two-handed. Okay, so know that you have this weapon in your arsenal. And the one that I really love is called cow or bump. When I was first learning Tai Chi, I wanted to be the master of this one move. But the idea is once you've gotten in very close with your opponent, you can just bump them with the shoulder, with your chest, if you know this move in Wu style, okay, with the back, shoulder, bump, Yang style, white crane spreads its wings. When you're first getting into that, bump. Okay, so these techniques are all at your disposal for you to use and to explore your own Tai Chi. The next time you do your form, look to see in which of the moves these 8 powers are available to you. Okay? Then finally are the 5 directions, and I won't do those. One I'll do in Chinese is called Zhanding, which is your central equilibrium. Bring your center of gravity to the dantian, and you always want to stay balanced in your Zhanding. This is your core. Okay? Then, step forward, sit back, look right, and look left. And those are the 5 directions. Forward, back, right, left, and central equilibrium. I hope this helps for you to explore your Tai Chi and advance your Tai Chi life as you move forward. Thank you.